keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator.
Sadie practices over the haunches with an ATV mechanical cow simulator.
Pulling slack. And Susie's coming my way because she feels the pressure behind her horns.
We show you spur desensitization with Sadie, shank bridle use with Eve, and teeth floating with Semi.
We're going to work on two problems that we uncovered in the pasture penning last time that we did with sealant. One problem was that Sadie, my youngest, Morgan, can you move over here a little bit so Sadie's in the camera? We don't have a camera operator today, so we're trying to make do. Was real whoopee-like with the spur cue. And especially when you're working with cows, to get that lateral motion and to get it quickly, you need to be able to use a spur if your horse is not responding the way you hope they would. So, with this motor cow in my covered square pen, we're going to give Sadie something to follow. Katie is going to use spurs quite a bit. We're going to get Sadie desensitized to spurs. We're just going to tickle her with it, lightly touch her with it. Then in a few moments, and here she comes, here's Eve, and you'll see her in a moment. Ashley's going to be riding with Eve, but this time we have a shank bit on her, similar, the exact same bit we used on Semi, which we decided Semi doesn't go well in it. We want to use a little bit more leverage to get Eve to stop lightly. And if that shank bit doesn't work, next time we'll try this one. I'm not a fan of shank bits, but they do have their purpose. This one's a straight shank. The one on Eve right now, the one we used with Semi, is a curved shank. So we're going to try some bit power here to get Eve to understand when we ask for a stop, and when it's associated with us sitting deep in the saddle and pushing your heels down and pulling your feet away from the side of her body, all of those are cues to give us a good light stop. So for a few minutes with each horse today, we're going to show you what we're going to have to do many minutes of. And this is a good time to do it in the rainy season. We've got another week or two of rains. We're going to do it here in the square pen. We'll do it in my uncovered arena. We'll do it up and down the driveway where there's a sanded rock driveway, and it's a nice safe place to work. We're going to get these two horses to be more responsive for us out there when we actually pen a cow. So I'm going to show you now how this motor cow works. I've had many a program on it, but just a few minutes of it today will give you an idea how we're going to get these horses to work over their haunches in this covered square pen today. Now, Sadie has already heard this motor. It's a motorized cow, and I'm in a little cage here, so I'm protected. And there's the cow hanging from a rope. The cables are up on the roof, so it's really easy to set this up. This square pen in this time of year doubles as a nighty-night cozy place for my horses, so we use portable panels, but they're easy enough to move out of the way. Okay, a few minutes of Sadie with spurs, Katie aboard, following this motor cow. We're going to show you as best we can how she's behaving. Motor cow is operated by a toggle switch. I am now going to go away from the camera, which is in the westerly direction. And you ready? I'll try to get both the moving object and Sadie in, and also work the toggle switch to give you an idea how this practice is going to fix that particular problem, and that is the whoopee nature that Sadie gives us when we use a tickle of a spur. So here goes the motor cow. She's swishing her tail. She's getting stressed. Okay, now I'm going to toggle back. How you feeling up there? Is she giving you whoopies?
She's not whooping, but she's getting stressed over.
Yeah, I see those eyeballs.
Yeah.
Okay, she just has an O-ring snaffle on, by the way. Okay, so can you come a little closer now to the moving object? I'm going to try to get you both in. And remember, this is just a sample of what we're going to do a whole lot of to solve that problem of not really understanding and responding lightly to a spur tickle. Toggle to the west direction again. Still that swishing of the tail, still flipping the hip over. Okay, toggle to the east. Still not responding. You see why we have a cage here around this toggle switch. Still not being light. One or two more times, we know we have a bunch to do. To the west. Aha. That was a kick up. Really naughty. Good. See how Katie backed her up to get her focus. To say every time you do that, you're going to do something that you don't like doing. We're not going to give her a reward for the right answer. Let's see if maybe this time don't use the spur, just around. Let's see if we can get a nice quiet response to over the haunches, and that's all we'll do for today to quit on a good note. Better, better. Still dancing, still biting her bit, but better. And so, Katie, do you want to tell us what your prescription is for the next few weeks?
She just needs a lot more practice. She gets really stressed whenever she feels the spur. But I think backing her, when I was working in the arena, just backing her right after she would whoopee, she started realizing that she shouldn't do that. So
okay, all right. Yeah, my outside arena is still a little bit too wet. We didn't feel it would be a safe place to do this, and that's why we came into this square pen. Okay, next is, if you can walk to the south end, and Ashley is going to work with Eve. Eve's pretty good about going over the haunches. It's just getting the nice light stop we weren't getting the other days. As a matter of fact, I was riding Eve, and I was very happy with her following Sela and so forth, but I wasn't happy when I asked her to stop for a position. We were trying to pen Sela in the pasture by using some kind of position logic, which meant that Eve had to stop in a certain place because we had, as a three-man team, a plan to make a corridor for Sela, and we finally got it. We got Sela penned in the pasture. But I realized in so doing that we have this stop lightness problem with Eve, that we need to work on it. So I had a D-ring snaffle on her that day. I decided we want to see if we can get a little bit more lighter stop with a shank snaffle. And of course we have the double reins on, which helps us to get Eve to break at the pole. Okay, so we're going to do the same exercise now with Eve, and Ashley's aboard. So I'm going to go westward. So back her up, and then I'll move it. Good. Over the haunches was good. Okay, the stop was good. That was a short run. It'll be a little bit longer coming this way. Okay, now because we want to see if she'll stop when you ask her to stop, I'm going to just go a few feet in this direction, stop like in the middle, which means she's going to want to probably overrun, and your job, Ashley, will be to ask her with the double reins. Notice how Ashley has her hand on the double reins too, in case Eve's head goes up. With the double reins, with the shank bit that has donuts on it just so that they don't bite at the shank, we're going to see if we can get her to stop lightly after she goes over her haunches. All right, going westward. Good. And back up a little bit. We want to get head on head with the little cloth cow here. Okay, now Eve doesn't know which direction I'm going to go. And what I'm going to do, I'm telling you, because she doesn't understand English, I'm going to keep going westward, but only for another few feet. Can you back up just a little bit more? Let's get her head on head with the cloth cow. Okay. And I'm going to have the camera on Eve. And you try to, using your sitting on your pockets, push your heels down so you don't fall forward. And pull your legs away from the side of her body so she knows you're asking for a stop, in addition to just tugging lightly on the reins. And here we go. Okay, I'm going to come back this way, and I'm not going to let either of you know if it's going to be a long run or a short run. We're just going to see if you, coupled with Eve as your partner, can get her to stop when you feel it's time to stop. Not bad. Tell us what you're feeling up there.
She's doing a lot better in here than she was just before when we were outside in the uncovered arena. She was being really hard, and especially on her way over, was jigging and not really paying attention. But now that she knows she has to follow the cow, and I think she's getting a lot better about knowing what her job is.
Yes, but I agree. Eve is definitely, every single session, getting better at knowing what her job is. But she also has to know when us riders want her to stop before the cow stops for whatever reason, that she's got to listen to that cue, all the more important. And I grant you, situation makes a big difference as far as getting their focus, and as far as, you know, what tack works when with what horse. But tell me, do you feel that this shank bit, if we just keep practicing with it, it's not quite as much a shank bit as the one that has no bend? Do you feel that we want to practice with that a little bit more before we go to anything more severe?
I think it's really situational. Like now she's doing just fine with it, but earlier the shank bit wasn't giving me much more leverage than what we had the last time we rode her. She was still, like, it was really difficult to get her to stop. Okay, then the very next time we ride, and we may or may not be able to get camera footage, but at least we can make our plan today. We're going to use the straight shank. And you're going to ride so that you can feel the difference. Does that make a difference or not? And you know what? No bit in a horse's mouth is really the answer. It's just helping you get to the answer. So there are a lot of ways to get a horse to understand the stop cue. One of them being fencing, right? You ride into the fence. But there are a lot of caveats about that too, and there are programs on RDTV concerning the main topic, getting a horse to stop. So we're not going to go out and pen anymore with the cows until we're sure that Eve understands that when her rider asks for a stop with consistent cues, all of us who ride her will understand what the cues are, that she understands that that means she's supposed to stop all four legs, not dance around, and not give you lateral flexion, not throw the hips out, etc. And we know we can do that. It's just going to take patience. Okay, that's the end of this show, and of course the end of this session. www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.
Well, this is a postscript, as we often do. We decided to go ahead and put that straight shank bit on Eve. We're going to try her here with the motor cow for just a couple of minutes. Then we're going to go out on the driveway where she was misbehaving with the curved shank bit and see if she's any better responsive. Okay, so can you get in position, Ashley? And I'm going to run the motor cow for you. And I'm going to go westward. Here we go. And back her up a couple steps. We almost always back a couple steps after a hoe so that they know that the next move comes powered from the haunches. Okay, this direction, eastward. Ooh, she's looking good. How's she feeling?
Yeah, I think she's doing, I'm not sure if it's better, it's about the same, it's not any worse.
Okay, then we're going to stop the camera, and you see that door right there, that goes out to our driveway. Ashley's going to go out to the driveway, we'll set up the camera out there, and show you for another moment or two if Eve is behaving well with her straight shank bit. Here we are on my sand-covered driveway, long straight path. She's out in the open, Evie's out in the open, so she's going to probably be a little bit more alert, stressed, dancing around. We'll see. And you'll see because she has that straight shank bit on, and Ashley's going to tell us if she thinks she's getting a better, lighter stop. We always try to use light hands. And back her up. If she keeps dancing around, back her up. She'll say, whoa, I better not dance around because she's going to make me work harder. Nice straight back. A little bit off path, but not bad. Okay, let's... You can go either direction. I'll just follow you with the camera. Nice over the haunches. Try to pick up a trot. Try to get a nice light stop. Looks good, but as soon as Ashley comes back, we'll ask her how it felt. Ah, look at that. Throwing the head, biting on the bit. Yeah. Yeah, not good. Not good. Back. Try to back her up. Good. Good. Okay, remember the question we were trying to answer here is that straight shank bit giving you any better response than the curved shank bit? And what's your answer, Ashley?
I think it definitely has more of an effect, but it might possibly be a negative effect. She's doing a lot more dancing and throwing her head than she was before with the curved shank.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's definitely more severe and she's responding to that, but I'm not sure it's in the way we want her to respond to it.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna go back a step, then use the curved shank bit, see if with repetition we can get a little bit lighter stop from Eve than we were getting with the D-ring snaffle. And that's the plan. And keep in touch with Urban Cowgirl Show to see if we have accomplished our objectives. Got one of her shank bits on, and notice you have to be very careful if you're using a shank bit that you put the reins on the right ring. You want to get that leverage power of the shank. So the reins are on the bottom ring. Starting to rain, but we put some elastic reins on the top ring of the shank bit. We can make them tighter. We've got ways to do that, but we just want to see what will happen with the elastic reins instead of the double reins. We prefer the double reins. And it is raining, so we're just going to go up and down a short path here. We're hoping when the elastic reins are pulled, if she pulls up her head, she'll say, uh-oh, I better put my head down. Okay, stop here. Not tight enough, okay? I'm gonna make them just a little bit tighter. We wanna see if they'll pull her head down like double reins do. And they certainly do. Not quite as effective. Let's see if we can get a good stop. Good. And away, and then around the haunches. Ah, she's pretty excitable, but she looks in good form.
Now Semi gets her teeth floated.
Well, today is teeth floating day, and we're showing you some film clips of Semi. Shadrach Triton Semi having her teeth floated by Dr. Kristen Wallace. Semi has just been tranquilized. We're under shelter here in my covered square pen because it's raining outside.
She's got a nice normal bite.
Nice normal bite. I'm going to show you the important steps in floating teeth in case you've never seen it. And here we go. What kind of a teeth floater device is that?
I use a Swiss float. It's similar to a power float, but it's got a better motor.
Okay, motorized teeth float, a Swiss float. Top's done. Now Sammy is tranquilized. I want to show you how she's standing on all fours, but obviously relaxing on her right rear.
Oh, you're concerned, are you?
And you know what? Sadie is next. That's my youngest Morgan mare. She's here, very curious, watching. We won't show you anything about her floating unless there's something different to show you. This is the Urban Cowgirl Show, trying to show you how we maintain our versatile Morgan horses. Sammy also got her vaccinations today, and so will Sadie, and so will Eve. Yesterday was the first day of spring, 2011. The baby is Kristen's, Dr. Kristen Wallace, and her baby. She takes her everywhere. Takes him everywhere. Checking to make sure all the teeth that needed floating got floated.
Hey, loudmouth.
Any instructions to us about having been tranquilized, what not to do or what to do at this point?
She shouldn't be allowed to eat for at least half an hour.
No eating for a half hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in case she chokes on her food.
Okay, which means we can't even turn her out in the pasture yet. Okay. So we'll keep her on a dirt or rocked ground for at least a half hour. And now she's getting her vaccinations. And even though she's tranquilized, she did feel that. See her flagging her tail. A couple weeks ago, we wormed all 3 Morgan horses using the applesauce in a worm paste tube trick, and it worked just fine. Okay, that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.